Today is April 17th, 18th. I'm just going to do a general read for whoever needs to hear what Spirit has to say today. Could be for me, it could be for you, it could be for everybody. With a general read, take what resonates, leave what does not. As there may be the people watching, so everything I say may not completely resonate with everybody. Okay? My helper was asleep. She has woken up. So we'll see if maybe she falls back asleep while we tap into what Spirit has to say today. So we're just going to ask Spirit for any messages for today, for whoever is watching this reading. 6 of Spring, and the 4 of Autumn. I'm going to start with 3. Not that many. You may hear my dog snoring in the background. Seven of Autumn. So to me, this has to do with work, with almost biding your time, I want to say, resources, power, using our resources to manifest what we desire. Oh, you are just wiggling out of this. The 6 of Spring, it talks about wonderful news being on the way. Success and public recognition. If you look at this, this is very queen-like looking. This queen, this fairy queen, is in her power, and she has been successful. She is on her unicorn. And it almost feels like an end of a cycle to me. It feels like we are at the end of something, and we've been successful. Like we've come through to the other side, and hooray, we did what we set out to do. The 4 of Autumn is our next card, and it talks about managing resources, having balance, helping those less fortunate. In this card, there are 2 fairies, and to me, the fairy over here almost looks like she's snubbing this fairy to me. It's almost like, I'm going to pretend that you don't exist so that I don't have to offer my help to you. It's kind of that feeling of burying our head in the sand and pretending like there's nothing going on that needs our attention. This can happen when we are feeling like we're kind of in survival mode, or when things are really going our way and we don't want to acknowledge things that might trip us up or pull us out of our vortex. So on the floor of this card is a bag with coins spilled out of it. So to me, that is, are we ignoring what's right in front of us? Are we picking up those coins and using them wisely? Or are we pretending they don't exist? There seems to be some sort of something sort of amiss about those coins. Like, we're just not managing it wisely. And again, is that because we're ignoring it? Did we put them down and forget they're there? Okay. Because if we really look, we do have the resources. They're right there in front of us. So we may be playing small. We may be saying, well, I don't have the time, or I don't have the money, or I don't have what I need for this next part to be successful. There's something that's lacking. And the reality is that it's there. And there's just kind of putting on blinders and pretending it's not, okay? And then the next card is the 7 of Autumn. And this fairy is by himself. He looks to be a little younger, and he's resting. He is eating some fruit, it looks like. And, you know, like we think of autumn and there's all these pumpkins, so there's harvest, right? But harvest takes time, it takes patience, and before we can get to the harvest, we have to do the work ahead of it. If we have not sown the seeds, there will be no harvest. So to me, this fairy has left the seeds have grown, and he's working hard to harvest those pumpkins, but he's taking a break, and that's okay. So sometimes we have hard work and we need to take a break to refuel and re-energize. Talks about investing time or money. So here we are, we've got these resources that we're ignoring, investing them wisely, taking the time to rest and plan your next steps. Sometimes when we've got this large of a harvest or we've got this much going on, it's hard for us to decide where to start, and we have to pause and reflect and kind of take stock of what's at hand and where we go first. And ideally we have to start somewhere. So you can't just sit back and say, well, there's just so much and I just don't know where to start, so I'm going to do nothing. You do have to start somewhere. I feel like that's part of that message. You have to start somewhere. I guess I'll turn these for you in case somebody wants to zoom in and look at these cards. I'm going to pull from another deck. It's called the Enchanted Tarot of Enchanted Dreams. They're slightly larger cards. They're a little bit harder to shuffle. I just want to get a little bit more information. Again, take what resonates, leave what does not, because it is a general read. Everything I say may not apply to everybody that watches. But I am confident that whoever is supposed to hear this message will hear this message. I just felt called. I had a few minutes. Felt called to pull some cards. Okay, we've got the Two of Wands. The Eight of Wands. And the Four of Wands. Look at that. All this wand energy. And the Wheel of Destiny is on the back here. All this wand energy. I'm going to look in my book just for a second, just to make sure there's nothing I miss on these. The Suit of Wands is okay, so here we've got travel, and this is a journey. That's what I was getting with this, is that, you know, we have a journey at hand. Perhaps we may have two paths. It's hard to see on this card, but two paths to decide on. So there could be a journey or a path being decided. The Eight of Wands talks about travel, things happening quickly, news, swift movement, so it's quick. And the Four of Wands, hey, you're falling out. Celebration, freedom, stability, rewards. So this could, again, very well may have something to do with work or an adventure, because the Four of Autumn to me is kind of more like career, finance, working. The Two of Wands talks about travel, talks about two paths. This is going to happen quickly and swiftly, and the Four of Wands is basically like celebrating that movement and that speed, okay? Let's see. We are going to pull this deck is called Transmissions from Your Soul. It's actually a light language. It's a really pretty deck, and it has really beautiful imagery on it. And this is a deck that I think I got within the last year, but of course with Callie, I haven't had as much time to work and get familiar with cards. So let's see what, oh, Inward Revolution. I'm going to let you look at that card because with these cards, the imagery is very powerful and it's meant, it has a specific frequency. Inward Revolution. And I'm going to pull one more. So while this may be an outward transformation, things happening on the outside, and this card talks about, you don't want that many cards, what is going on inside, and soul love. So let me check these in the book because I'm not as familiar with these cards, and just make sure that if there's a message that somebody is supposed to receive, that they get it. Soul love is unconditional love. Now I'm not going to be able. Your job is to feel balanced in every moment is that card. Unconditional love is the message there. And then let's see. The way of your heart, moving forward even when you're feels like you're going backwards. Your path may seem to go up and down or inward or outward. The spiral is the symbol of your soul journey. So this is about the inward journey. And you know, our outer world, we have movement and we have the 3D. We have things that are always changing around us. This is the stuff that's changing within us despite what's going on around us. There may be no movement going on around us and we still have this movement inside. We may have stuff going on around us on the outside and we have the inward movement that goes along with it, okay? So it's a little bit of both is the message that I get there. Another very beautiful deck, the Work Your Light deck by Rebecca Campbell. I'm just gonna pull one overall card there. Oh, my helper is trying to help. That's apparently where we're going to stop. The Age of Light, you've been training for this for lifetimes. So what may be happening on the outer world is a reflection of what has happened in prior lifetimes, what has happened. I feel like this is an upgrade. Like, you know, you live a life, and you learn some lessons or have some patterns that happen, and then you come back and you repeat those cycles sometimes, or there's something that you need to remaster or something that needs to be dealt with at a different level. And that is, I feel like, what's going on here. This path on the outer world is a repeat of something that has happened before. Oh, Miss Callie. And this repeat is an ascension. It is something that you've done before, you're doing it again, but this time you're going to do it differently because, well, this is a different life. But there's almost this talked about the circular spiral patterning. And Callie agrees. And so we're going to keep spiraling back and we're going to repeat these lessons but go deeper. We're going to repeat and we're going to go deeper. I'm saying deeper, but it's really a higher ascension when we repeat and we find things that need to be healed, or we address trauma or patterns. And lots of times these are patterns that exist. This is something that comes up a lot. Patterns that exist generationally within our family, in our DNA, and that needs to be cleared for healing for us, but for our children and for our ancestors as well. I'm just gonna do a weird shuffle here because my one hand is full and my helper is clearly got stuff to say. Aquamarine, number 7. Aquamarine. Let's see what energy Aquamarine has for us. Aquamarine. Enhanced clarity, calm discernment, awareness, and acceptance of one's truth. It assists us in communicating when the frequency of love often softens the edges of our swords and teaches us to express ourselves from the heart rather than strictly from what we know. Callie, honey, you were asleep and then you were awake and now you're grumpy. So this is working from the heart space, working from love. Gives us the opportunity to soften when we are feeling a little harsh, maybe. All right, and then our last card deck is the Divine Feminine card deck. And I'm gonna make some piles here. And we're gonna pick from the top. I am a warrior of love. My devotion attracts resources and support. So on our path, with our training, with our going inward and it being a reflection of our outward, we do need support. We do need resources. And this, the warrior saint, Maya Bago, I'm not sure how to say that, but look, she's got a sword in her hand. Where'd that sword go? Right there. This talks about softening our sword, and here she is with the sword. Okay. And then one final. Now, of course, this is a very quick read. I'm going as quickly as I can because of my fussy little one. And it is a general read, and I'm trying to keep it quick. If I were doing a specific reading for one of you, I would go much more in depth with these cards if it were a full out reading. I may talk just as fast because Spirit always has a lot to say. Okay, the blue flame. Connect to the blue flame, which is the light of pure love within you. Look at that. So all of this, there seems to be this outside stuff going on. And we're being called to connect within and live from the heart space. Hey. And live from the heart space, okay? This blue flame helps us tap into that. This is a blue aquamarine. Helping to soften that sword that is carried here by the warrior. And sometimes we have to feel like a warrior in order to get through both the external and internal that we're going through. Oh my goodness. If you got to the end of this, I wanted to keep it at 15 minutes and I am clearly a little above 15 minutes. And you got through the end and got to listen to Little Miss add her 2 cents. Thank you for bearing with me and for listening and watching. If you would like your own private reading, I am still doing Pay What You Wish. And usually she stays asleep, and if she does not, I usually pause and restart when we're quiet. Occasionally you still hear a little baby. But this is real life. I am a real mom, and I'm just trying to balance that. Yeah, I'm trying to balance that. And still, you know, I still feel called to live or to do from this soul space. And so that's what I'm doing. Again, if you would like your own reading, I am happy to do that. It's Pay What You Wish right now. They were supposed to be 15 to 20 minutes. Most of them are closer to 35, 40 minutes. And then I'm happy to do follow-up as well if you have additional questions. So feel free to reach out to me. I am happy to work with anybody that is wishing to be read. And I hope that you have a wonderful Sunday evening.